Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about MAGA telling Trump not to cut Medicaid. If you thought hearing Senators Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell come out against the tariffs was weird, buckle up, because you aren't going to believe this. I'm going to read you some quotes, and then I'll tell you who they're from. Get ready for some more tension in the MAGA-verse. Quote, Medicaid, you got to be careful because a lot of MAGA's on Medicaid. I'm telling you, if you don't think so, you are dead wrong. Medicaid is going to be a complicated one. Just can't take a meat axe to it. Here's another quote. Until we see the math, and I mean hundreds of billions of dollars in cuts, hundreds of billions of dollars in cuts, and stop whining about entitlements. Get into the discretionary spending. Get into the Pentagon. These statements are coming out because the House Budget Blueprint calls for the Committee on Energy and Commerce to cut $880 billion over the next 10 years. That committee oversees Medicaid, and a massive portion of the cuts are likely to come from there. Okay, so who is it in the MAGAverse that's worried about cuts to social safety nets? Steve Bannon. Surprise! Not on my bingo card. But wait, there's more. He also called out the House Budget Blueprint for the bait and switch that it is. Remember, a lot of Trump's circle was saying they were going to get $1 or $2 trillion per year in cuts. The House Budget Blueprint was a wee bit different. Bannon says, quote, show me the $1 trillion in cuts. I don't want a $2 trillion deficit. I want to see it cut in half. How'd you do it? What they're talking about, the $1.5 trillion over 10 years, that's $150 billion a year. Now I realize this may be taken differently, but it's $150 billion. It's not going to work. He seemed to also take a swipe at Musk's Department of Government Efficiency by implying that maybe it wasn't efficient. Quote, how could we possibly have a $2 trillion deficit? Where are the Doge cuts? We need them all. They've had at least enough time to identify at least the waste, fraud, abuse in all these different organizations. It's worth remembering two things. First is that Bannon has long advocated for deep cuts to spending. So he's not actually opposed to deep cuts, just those that would be unpopular with the MAGA base. Second is that Bannon and Musk have some tension between them. Before the inauguration, Bannon told an Italian newspaper, quote, I will get Elon Musk kicked out by the time he's inaugurated. He won't have a blue pass with full access to the White House. He'll be like everyone else. While that obviously didn't happen, we don't know if the two have settled their differences. As we've seen repeatedly, Americans aren't always sure where their health care comes from. You know, like how a lot of people oppose Obamacare, but are terrified of losing the Affordable Care Act. So, having people in the MAGAverse publicly stating that a lot of MAGA needs it might actually help curtail the cuts. We'll see what happens. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.